when Mo and I were talking before, his official title is VP of Product, but when we were talking before, he's like, well, it's really VP of Product and Growth.
Yep.
So I thought I would say, like, how do you go from product to growth, and how important is that to be together?
So originally, I was mainly focused on product. I've been with Anghami for the past 10 years so far, and we realized over time that product and growth are not two different things. When we had two different orgs, one is doing growth, one is doing product, well, what do you do product for? You do it for growth. And how do you do growth? You build the product. So they used to clash. So the only way to actually build properly and build your product strategy correctly and your growth strategy correctly is to unify that org into a single place. And that's a common problem we see in a lot of places. Your org structure needs to answer what your business needs are or where your goals are, and that's what we've done in the past couple of years.
Yeah, it makes sense. And we're seeing that too across the board, that those two things have to, if they're not structured, they at least have to work well together.
Yep.
Or it creates all kinds of friction.
Yep.
Streaming is no longer about content. How easily is it for users to engage with it? And then how do you create that engagement?
Yeah. So with music streaming, of course, it's no longer about content. More or less, all the streaming platforms have the same content. And it's also not even about personalization anymore, because personalization is taken for granted. If the streaming platform I'm using doesn't know exactly what kind of music I like or I would like and what to recommend for me, then I wouldn't use it. So the challenge now is around differentiation. How do you differentiate your platform than competition? And the thing we used to have a lot in the past is that when you keep looking at competition, you don't end up with anything that is special about you, with no differentiation. Competition, what we always keep reminding ourselves is that your competitor is not at the same stage in their life as you. They don't have the same goals. They don't have the same problems. They don't even sometimes have the same audiences that they're thinking of. We're the only music streaming platform that is built in the MENA region for the MENA region. So what we did over the past few years is that we found what could differentiate us for these audiences, what could work for them. And it was the social aspect of music streaming. Because music at the core is a social thing. Listening to music is a social behavior. You send the song you like to a friend, you listen to music together in the car, at a party, you talk about it. So it's a social behavior. We took that, we embedded it into the app. We allow you to actually send songs directly to your friends, see what they're playing, interact with it, play music together, etc. That gave us the differentiator, and that made us acquire a special kind of audience and retain them and get them to actually obsess about our product. And now we don't worry about them going somewhere else, because somewhere else doesn't have these features to begin with. And our competitors might never build them because they're not looking at those people, at this market, they're looking somewhere else and solving other problems. If we copy them, we're solving for their problems and we'll never be different. That's the approach we're taking.
Got it. And are there any particular innovations that helped with that whole sharing experience?
Yeah, so we built a feature around 4 years ago, and it's doing really well so far, is called Live Radio on Anghami, where you're able to play your own playlist, but share it with others so they listen to it at the same time as you. And then you can chat with them over audio or over text. And then you create your own community of people that are actually listening to music with you. We even added another feature that lets you know, using our AI engines, the match percentage between you and someone else based on your music preferences. We mistakenly did some matching between people where people started discovering friends. And even we had a couple that got married because they found each other on Anghami, which is not something we're optimizing for, but it just happens that we created that community of people sharing music together and finding music together.
I love that. A music site that's creating, like Match.com,
Yeah.
creating those relationships. That's awesome. And given the maturity of the property, how do you acquire new users?
Yeah, I mean, for both Anghami and Osan Plus, it's always a challenge to optimize your acquisition funnel. And that goes back to the growth versus product kind of thing. So we work really hard on optimizing the acquisition funnel in a sense of looking at every step in the way and it's all about journeys. It's all about figuring out which part of the funnel is working or not working, and what can we do to do it differently. And in many cases, it's a bit counterintuitive. So you need to build a journey that is simple. But simple doesn't mean shorter. Simple might mean longer sometimes, but clearer. So if I send you a link to a song on WhatsApp, and you tap on that link, and you end up on the Apple App Store to download an app, and then that takes you to the app. Sure, that's a short journey. Do you understand anything? Do you know why I ended up installing an app? What's the context here? There's no context. This is not a simple process. But if I take you from that link to a web page that shows that song in a context of a streaming platform, and then from there I tell you need to download the app to listen to the song, I made the journey longer, but I made it clearer. And we've seen results that show that such journeys actually give us better results. We've experimented with the branch links you were talking about into kind of sending users to the web, sending them to the store, sending them directly to the app, and seeing what actually works there. This was a key thing for us to optimize that journey, in addition to, of course, optimizations inside the app and the sign-up journey, and the onboarding journey, all parts of the first day kind of. So our product managers, we have half focused on the first day and half focused on everything else. Because with music and with video, with music, if I get you to play 30 minutes on the first day, you are done. You're good. You're staying. If you don't play 30 minutes on the first day, I'm never going to see you again. Video, same thing. Just complete one episode on your first day, and we're good. So that's why we obsess about that first few hours.
Yeah, it's so interesting you say that, because I was just looking at some research that said if you don't take action within the first 24 hours, I'm most likely to just delete your app.
Yep.
And it feels like that's exactly what you're saying. So what are those immediate engagements? How do you get people to your point, play a half hour of music when they first download the app?
Yeah. So with Anghami, let's say it was more around the quick path towards personalization, the satisfaction they get from when they immediately see that there is something that they like. So in many apps, you focus when you're onboarding a user on what you need from them. We need permission for push notification, we need your email, we need. But I'm new here. I'm coming here to maybe trust you, maybe become your customer, and you're now interrogating me and asking me for stuff. I don't want this, I'm leaving. Instead, flip it around. What do they want from us? They're here for music, they're here for a personalized experience. Now I'm going to give them that, but to give them that, I need to ask them some questions for that context. So I built that context, and then I'm like, okay, I want to build you a customized experience. Give me 3 artists you like. That's it. Everything else doesn't matter. Everything else you can skip. I might not show it to you. You give me those 3 artists, I build playlists and mixtapes and personalizations for you. And then we actually built our homepage. We built it from scratch, optimized for those new users. And that actually improved the retention rate, the day 1, day 2 retention rate significantly because of those optimizations.
So in essence, you're earning the right for them to become a user.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
they have the upper hand in that first day, not me. I'm not supposed to ask them for stuff and request things from them. I need to give them the why, and then ask them for stuff in that context only.
You know, a lot of our customers struggle with how to allocate budget against acquiring users versus re-engaging and retention. How do you think about that? Put your growth hat on.
Yeah, so as you said, it's not only about acquiring the users, it's about retaining them. And if you're able to retain the users, much cheaper for you, much better economics. We actually build our product strategy in a way that fits into this. So, from the beginning of the year, the initiatives we build, whatever we design from a product perspective, is split into acquisition, retention, and ARPU, or average revenue per user, or revenue in general. So we split the thought process between 2 different teams. You think here, you think there. You want to retain the guy, I want to acquire him. And it's like hand-holding. The acquisition team in growth is finding a way to get the user in. The subscription team is figuring out the right price. They take them, they hand them to the product people. The first PM, the acquisition PM, is making sure they go into the acquisition funnel. They play their first song. It's handed over to the engagement PM that actually ensures that they play along. But you cannot do one of the 2. if you're retaining users but you're not bringing in anyone, then your growth is not spinning. And if you're acquiring users and you're losing them the next day, it's also not spinning. So you need to split your teams, your strategies, your plans, sometimes in half, depending on where your gaps are. So in acquisition, we've optimized a lot to the degree, okay, now we can, let's say, we can spend 20% of our time optimizing the acquisition funnel, but now we have some problems on retention. So the split changes, but it's important to have that mindset of splitting your workload and your plans accordingly.
And is long-term value the bridge metric between those two?
Yes, yes, definitely. The LTV of the user, the long-term value of the user is very important. And it starts from, so if you combine that with the acquisition cost and with the conversion rate to subscription and all of that, you get the bigger picture of, am I doing well or not? And sometimes you get your acquisition guys coming in and saying, okay, we're getting a low cost of acquisition, we're doing great. And then you look at it, and then those people are not converting to a subscription much. They're acquiring free users. I don't need the free users, so you're not doing well. But then you combine it with the subscription people, they come in, well, we got you subscribers at a low cost. Okay, good, but they're all churning next month. So it's still not good. So how do you actually optimize that whole the whole story, and how do you measure in a way that ensures you're getting the healthiest thing out? Because I've seen orgs, I've seen teams that were very happy about what they're doing, but when you dig deeper, they are doing a great job in one part of it, but everything else is broken. You're not really doing well. You're looking at the wrong number.
You know, it's interesting. We talked a lot about the growth part of your job.
Yeah.
How about the product part of your job? Like, how do you balance between product features for new customers versus how you create product features to retain customers?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's always a hard question. It goes back to the obsession with differentiation versus competition. And we always need the thing that attracts the new customer. But one easy way to do it is if you build a strong product, a nice product that people love, then that optimizes for new users, because those users who are using your product and loving it are going to talk to their friends and they're going to bring their friends in. So optimizing for retention actually optimizes for acquisition as well, if you do it the right way on the product side.
Got it. You know, it's interesting too. You've got two different properties that you're bringing together here too, in Anghami and OSN Plus.
Yeah.
So talk about how those two play together to create a better user experience.
Sure. So 1 year ago, we actually did the merger between Anghami and OSN Plus. We rebuilt OSN Plus from scratch on the Anghami ecosystem. And still till today, it doesn't show much how integrated they are together, but we're planning a lot of features to actually connect those two parts of entertainment together. What we're building is an entertainment ecosystem. So we're working on bundling between the two, so you don't have to pay much to get music and video. We're working on more smoother interaction between the two. You're playing a movie, I'm going to give you the soundtracks of that movie, and you'll go play them on Anghami. You're playing some music, I'll give you the documentary that is related to that music on Awesome Plus. So we're bridging that between those two apps, taking you from one to the other very smoothly, to ensure you get actually that entertainment experience without having one crowded app.
You know, so many customers we talk to struggle with that omni-channel experience and bringing them together. Is there anything you've learned about, you know, having these two distinct properties and how you get them to work better together?
I mean, yeah, it's difficult for sure, and it's always the cases of this user has one of the two, the other has both. Where do I take them, etc. We've worked with your team as well a lot on actually building journeys that work and that handle all those different cases of what happens if they do have the app, they don't have it, they're opening from desktop, they're opening from web. So, and it's quite easy nowadays. And I think 10 years ago, we had the same issue your founders had. Not even 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. And up until now, I see a lot of apps that have that same issue, that you have a link somewhere, you tap it, you end up on the store, but although I have the app, you go to the app, the link doesn't open, and you're stuck. You don't end up, the link is broken. Those problems used to happen with us a lot, but with rebuilding OSN Plus, with enhancing Anghami, we fixed a lot in that. And we're relying on that core engine to actually get users to cross-use both platforms.
And have you used QR codes to help bridge between these two properties?
So we actually had a problem with login, the login journey, part of the acquisition experiments on TV. Logging in on TV in many apps is very challenging. And the first thing I was telling my team about once we started working on the SM Plus project, I am not inputting my password on a TV, full stop. It's insane that there are apps right now where you have to type your password letter by letter on a TV with many people in the room, and everyone is seeing that password, and it's very slow going through a keyboard. It's insane. So we wanted to really optimize that process of sign up and log in on TV without you having to type and do all of that. So what we did is a QR journey where you scan the QR code and you're logged in. Done. You do nothing. How does that happen? The QR code has a special code in it. You scan it. It deep links into OSN Plus, and then OSN Plus recognizes that code, recognizes you because you're already logged in, and then logs you in immediately on that TV. That drastically changed the login funnel for us on TV. The complaints we used to get, the users not knowing what account to use, the slow process, all of that got fixed by tick, tick, done. And it looks like magic nowadays if you try to log into OSN Plus.
I think that's the whole goal, right?
Yeah.
Make it look effortless.
Yeah,
Make
exactly.
it look like magic.
Yep.
Anything else, Mo, that you would want to share with the audience in terms of learnings, either product or the journey side of things that you think would be an important takeaway?
I think what matters for both product and growth is one thing, mainly one thing, is measurement. The ability to measure and the ability to know what to measure. If you're not measuring, if you don't know how your login funnel looks like, how your acquisition funnel looks like, where are your users coming from, what is it costing you, what are they doing, how much are they staying, who's getting retained, who's not. If you're not able to answer all of these questions, then you're just shooting in the dark. So measurement is an incredibly important thing, and democratizing that measurement and allowing everyone in your organization, from marketing to growth to product to engineering, all of them to actually be able to look into those numbers and figure out what to improve is the most important thing for growth.
Well, I think that's a good place to leave it. Yeah. I so appreciate you taking time out, and every time we're together, I learn a little something new. So
Same here.
Thank you, Mo. Thanks everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.